like key highlights sent to your email from our committee. Now, a little bit introduction again regarding today's agenda. So we are at the participant, the opening and also introduction. And after this, we're going to have lecture session by Aarhus PSS Denmark. And then we will have about 30 minutes of Q&A session and also a thank you note or closing remarks in the very end of the webinar. So this is what we've been waiting for. But before we proceed, I'm going to introduce to you our lecturer for the day. We have Professor Marco Hubert, the Director of the Marketing, Analytics and Strategy from Aarhus School of Business and Social Sciences, Denmark. So before we welcome him, a little bit introduction regarding the key points that the Professor Marco will deliver. First of all, Professor Marco will explain or give remarks getting the need for omnichannel thinking to identify the importance and added value of the customer digital journey, and then the importance of data and strategy in customer experience, delving into customer experience management in the digital era. And the last one is about ways to enhance customer engagement to improve marketing outcomes. So without further ado, let's welcome Professor Marco. Hello, Professor.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for the nice introduction. Maybe also start sharing my screen. Is it okay? Yours. Cool.
Yeah. The floor is yours.
Also, welcome everyone from my side. Nice to kind of at least meet you virtually and have the chance to present not only our university but also the things we are doing in our program. I kind of added to your title a bit more because I think what we are doing right now and also what companies are kind of really keen on when it comes to graduates and people who are educating is they want to have generalists when it comes from the marketing management perspective, but with the specialization. Yeah. So and I hopefully when I go through it, why I think the program we are offering when it comes to marketing analytics and strategy with the content I will talk about in a second is kind of a nice match with each other and so forth. Yeah. So like I said, so there will be quite a lot about digital customer journeys, how customer experiences and customer experience management getting more and more important. What do we think about omnichannel thinking and so forth? So I will kind of have some of these aspects included. You already nicely mentioned who I am, so I just make it short. So I'm since the last year I'm full professor here at the management department at Aarhus University, and I was former associate professor also in a similar area in the marketing section. And since 2020, I'm also the program coordinator, or you call the director of the marketing analytics and strategy program, which is one of our master specialization. And the good thing is we actually had a huge revision, or we modernized it in the last year. So it's actually right now more or less state of the art. So also what brings me to my talk, and also what brings me to kind of what I kind of also transfer into the teaching is my research. So I do a lot of research when it comes to all kinds of consumer behavior regarding digital aspects when it comes to how consumers use digital devices, smart devices, big data, information communication technologies, all that stuff. So what's surrounding all the fancy, nice ways of the digital transformation. I'm more or less a quant researcher. I'm doing a lot of quantitative studies, also when it comes to using machine learning and so forth. But I'm also interested in using, for example, and that's why maybe bioscience stand up there. It's something about using functional magnetic resonance imaging. That is neuroscientific techniques. So I'm doing also experiments and investigating the brain, more or less how the brain is processing different types of information and so forth. Yeah, so all these things, and that's the nice thing when it comes to our program university, is that we kind of spilling over all our research ideas, of course, into the education as well. Yeah. So and if you have questions to my person, of course, then you have the session afterwards. So thanks to that. What I want to talk about, and I hope that I kind of can stick to the time frame. So, but at some point you just say if I have to stop, and we move on. So first, of course, I want to just give a glimpse picture of what studying in Aarhus, specifically Denmark, then means, and especially when it comes to our university, just kind of that you at least have an idea what I'm talking about when I talk about Denmark and Aarhus. Then I will use my course program, the Marketing Analytics and Strategy program, to associate that with, I think, super important topics for companies nowadays and graduates, what kind of skills and knowledge and competence they need to have in order to kind of go further in employment and all that stuff. So I will attach to these 3 topics you have already mentioned in more detail. Then I will go through them, and at the end I will connect it back to the program where we actually have those topics covered, and why I think that the program in itself is quite a nice fit, a nice match to those crucial topics companies have to deal with. And of course, honestly, companies struggle a lot with. So that's why also graduates in those topics are super important. Yeah. So this is what I want to more or less want to talk about, and that's right. Going into it. So of course we have also Nina here, who is on top of studying in Aarhus. So if there are some questions to that one, so she will probably has a good answer to that as well. But let me maybe start from my perspective, because the interesting thing is I'm not a Dane. Yeah, so I'm a German. So I actually moved to Denmark. I moved to Denmark from a quite Germany, at least, large city called Berlin, so the capital city, and I moved to Aarhus, and I never regretted that. So because in a nutshell, when we are not really talking about study in itself, the content, but when we talk about the study environment, it's actually nice environment, because Aarhus in itself is the second largest city in Denmark. It's a young city that's actually super nice for students, because there's a lot of events, socialization, sport, whatever you want to do, cultural things in all the things close and nearby. So the environment of studying in Denmark, or in Aarhus specifically, is already nice scene and so forth. Which then also adds to that is, of course, the university itself. And what I like is actually that we are a big university. Yeah, so we have, of course, a lot of students, which then spills over to the nice area of studying here, the location itself as a young city. But also when it comes to the BSS where I'm working, we are one of the largest faculties. So we have the feeling like being a university. Yeah, we have all the certificates when it comes to high quality education. We of course also have on top of European universities, top 25 and so forth. But what I actually like is that when it comes to the master studies, we are big, but the studies when you go into the classroom, they are small, really intensive study groups. So it's like a business school in a big university setup. So you have a lot of interaction with your teachers, with your fellow colleagues. So it's international. So it's not only Danes who work here, it's international. So a lot of different nationalities, not only European ones. So you have a lot of interaction, quite close connection to me as a professor. I'm teaching master students, so I have quite close connection. So I can see where they how to support them, where they struggle, how to actually get the best out of them. So I think it's a super nice environment, I think. And then additionally, and that's also a plus for Denmark, and we can talk about later on, we have quite a lot of relatively successful international companies who are more or less hiring our graduates from the universities. So it's not only that we implement them, of course, in our studies for cases, for guest lectures. They're actually looking actively for graduates from all our programs, also especially from the marketing program, because it's actually on top of what they need. So meaning, before I get into the content, meaning is that if you consider studying in Denmark, it's actually, you have two ways, right? So one way is, of course, getting here, have a great life, have a high quality education, and then go home and apply and get employed there. But the other chance is also, because they're looking for internationals, also kind of go this whole student journey and have a good education, have a nice life, and then get hired by a Danish company who is also internationally in a way that they're sending out their employees. So, and they have, of course, quite great paid jobs as well. Yeah. So overall, yeah, I think it's a nice setup already to kind of move here. And then on top of this, we try to, at least we think that we are trying to add a state-of-the-art educational program here as well, which leads me then, of course, to what I want to more talk about. This is the program called Marketing, Analytics, and Strategy. And before I go into some content, why I think it's important to get education in here as well. And I see marketing, analytics, and strategy not just only as part of communication or social media. These are elements of it, but it's actually the whole value chain, the whole value composition, which you have to kind of acknowledge, value creation to value delivery for a company. So where this program has its fits in. Yeah, that's why I think it's important, because we just have to look at what's going on in companies' world. Yeah, just you don't need to go really dive into that one, but we all know, so with digital transformation, with all the things coming up nowadays, more advanced technologies, artificial intelligence, right, generative AI, so ChatGPT, so all the things are what's coming up, new forms of customer and firm interaction. Yeah, increased complexity, how to kind of interact with customers. New data, new analytic methods, right? So we just have to mention machine learning, AI, service robots, and so forth. So I will talk about that in a minute as well. Marketing innovations, yeah, service robots, yeah, new strategic frameworks, new business model innovations. So how to kind of create value. So how to create value for a company by creating value for consumers. And then, of course, this is not main part of my talk today, but it's a crucial aspect of companies going forward in the future, of course, topics like sustainability and diversity. So this is a crucial aspect when it comes to companies in our markets and internationally. So I will kind of so I think this is super important to just see that there is a lot of things going on. Yeah, and therefore it needs to have some structure, right? It needs to have some structure which we kind of try to focus on, and which we try to embed into our educational program. And you will see in a minute what I'm talking about. So these are, let's say, the main three pillars actually associated with the trends and with what is going on in the company world. So based on, of course, the main impact aspect which we have right now, which companies talk a lot about, and education needs to integrate that much more efficiently. It's about when you talk about customer centricity, because that's what it's always say. Yeah, we have to create value for the customer, but we know traditionally how companies ago has worked that out. So this is much more about customer centricity. So what do I know about customers? How do I reach them and so forth properly, and provide them with superior value? For those, we need those three pillars. So we need strategic thinking and marketing management. So that's super important. So marketing, analytics, and strategy is about strategic thinking and management. Yeah, so it's important that we need, because it needs structure. Yeah, it needs a goal and it needs structure. Then we need to deal with the amount of insights and data we get for our decision-making process. So it's important that students get educated in what is out there, how do I get it, what should I do with the kind of data in order to make strategic decisions, in order to manage the market and so forth. And then what else is of course on top, how business, society, and the environment, because we have that issue of we talk a lot about sustainability and all that stuff. So we talk about societal changes, societal challenges. So business is not only that we just say, okay, we need to do something because it's out there. It's also, and that we have to be bold on that one, there are opportunities for value creation. So there are opportunities for businesses to actually create value for the consumer, but also for their own business themselves by attaching these topics. Yeah. So this is more or less the concrete frame I kind of want to have, and I will finish then again with the different courses we offer when we kind of tackle this type of frame. Yeah, but what is in there first? So what is the important topic of what has changed? Yeah, so what has changed during the time? What are the advancements? So why do we actually talk about marketing analytics? Why do we need to talk about all that stuff? Yeah, and this is of course something when with the title value detection and value provision in the digital age, but when we really go to the bottom line, we will talk about data. Yeah. So and I will talk a bit about how do we what kind of data forms or what kind of data are we talking about? So where do we get the data from? Yeah. From a marketing management perspective. So what has changed according to data acquisition? So how do we deal with the data from a marketing perspective? Yeah. So, and to start that with, yeah, so we just need to look at, and I, in a sense, is maybe you know these concepts, maybe also you are completely unfamiliar with it. It's more for giving you some impulses what we actually do and why we think it's important to work that and to get educated in it. So, and of course, afterwards you can ask me some questions if you need more clarification. Yeah. So, of course, the main frame when we talk about marketing management is, of course, a customer journey. Yeah. So because we can attach a lot of things when it comes to our marketing mix, so when it comes to communication and so forth, to the customer journey. In a nutshell, so I will not go into it in detail, but from the main understanding, because you can already see what forms of information we already can reach out of the customer journey, is that we have a composition of different customer experiences. Yeah, so a journey in itself, a customer journey in itself, is a composition of different experiences, purchases, service use, even other experiences which has nothing to do with buying and so forth. So it's a set of experiences. If we just boil it down to purchase, each experience has different phases, and you will probably know them if you have had some associations to marketing. It's a pre-purchase stage, post-purchase, or purchase stage and post-purchase stage. Within all those stages, we have different touch points. We have brand-owned touch points like a website, like a package. We have partner-owned touch points and so forth, like a social media channel of a retailer. So there are a lot of touch points where we can get in contact with the brand as a customer. And you already see that there is a lot of possibilities to reach out to a consumer or to get feedback from a consumer already during these different stages. Yeah. So this is okay. This is nice to know. So it looks like a kind of like a nice linear thing, and you say, okay, so what is the problem now? Yeah, the problem for companies, and we see that when I work with companies, is that they struggle a lot. So of course, technology is a nice advancement. So everyone likes technology, and it makes things easier, it makes things much more convenient. But it has changed the way we have to look at customer journeys, and it's also changed the way how we get positivity benefits out of investigating the customer journey. So what has changed? Of course, the complexity and the linearity of a journey. So it's not that we go through one channel. So it's not that we use one channel like the desktop or like a brick and mortar store to do the whole customer journey or do the whole experience. So we are switching between channels. Sometimes we always switch also. Sometimes we use the mobile phone for doing a purchase for one category, but sometimes we use the mobile phone for just getting information, and we switch those channels. So this is one. So there's no linearity in it more. It's much more complex in a way of what kind of channels do consumers use on their journey. So it's much more complexity in it. Yeah. Another thing is also the empowerment of the customers, and I will talk about this. Is that of course, on the one hand, we can personalize much more. So we can actually go and partly individual segmentation. So we can really target the concrete specific needs of you as a person, as an individual, then go with large groups composition and so forth. So that's easier with data. Yeah. The other one is also, it's easier to get in interaction with you. So when we talk about customer engagement later on, this is a super important concept for companies, to get in interaction with your customers, with the consumers, to get feedback and also to approach them in a proper way. But this also means that customer gets much more empowered. So they are much more transparent in how they perceive information, what kind of information they could get, but also kind of feeding back to you as a company positively and sometimes worse, negatively, when we talk about shitstorms and all that stuff. And they sometimes do it without recognizing or without really going in direct conflict with the company. They do it usually via social media with other peers, with other consumers. And this is something we really have to, as a company, have to work with, because we need, so there's a lot of data, yeah, and we call that digital signals. So there is a lot of, so we as a consumer create a lot of digital signals during our journey, during our customer experience, yeah. So you're creating digital signals right now by attending the webinar, for choosing an educational program and so forth. So you kind of, yeah, so these are visible, tangible, or intangible. Yeah, like, of course, I can see if you give a public recommendation on a social media platform, if you post a product review. Yeah, I can also see if you read something from a retailer site, from a partner. So as a brand, that's privately observable. Even if you do window shopping in front of a retailer store, you could say it's anonym, that's not really tangible, but of course you still create a digital signal because your phone is tracking your location, yeah? So you still provide a digital signal of your location. And this is important because the digital signals for a company is super important to create prediction models out of it, yeah? So because you can either use those digital signals to kind of say, what is he doing on a customer journey, for example, buying a new book or buying a new computer and something like this. But you also you can also use those information on the digital signals to predict what the consumer might do for another product category. Yeah, if you think, okay, he's always using his mobile phone and checking Instagram on getting some product information. So maybe for other categories, that might be a nice channel to approach the consumer by an advertisement. Yeah, and even more, you can use the information you have on one consumer to predict the behavior and to predict the approachability of other consumers through other channels, based on modeling similarities between the individuals and so forth. So this is super interesting. But like, maybe if you think about it, also super complex. So we need to get educated in what is possible. So what do we actually get? So when we talk about marketing analytics and data, but we also need to educate people to create a structure out of it, because without a structure, we were structuring make a strategy. Yeah, without a strategy, it's just noise. You're just creating a mess, and you just react to something and not really be proactive. So this is what I think is important, and this is what we also educate, to create a structure and to really create value out of all those inside information, because otherwise you just get lost. Yeah, that's one thing, one important aspect. Another important aspect is, of course, how the world of products and services has changed. Yeah, so a lot of you, when I mentioned in my lecture platforms, no one really knows. So maybe some people have an idea what a platform is, but most of you are using platforms. If you talk about social media, if you talk about Facebook, WeChat, if you talk about Instagram and all this stuff. So these are platforms, yeah. And the important thing of platforms, and I have a nice picture just to kind of scare people away, is that so from the product perspective, yeah. So you have a product, you have a car, you have a phone, and this is your main interaction with the consumer, and this is what you could give it away. So you create value out of selling it, and that's it. Then, of course, the next step was kind of services, right? So from product to service. So service was repeatable. So you had a steady value flow out of services and so forth, and then the combination out of product and service to connect those two words. Platforms are more like, if you look at Apple, Microsoft, Google, Facebook, Amazon, all platform companies, one of the highest valued companies in the world, in the market, they are platform companies. Because what is their value driver? It's they're matching, they have almost not perfect, but they're matching different parties with each other. So someone who wants something, for example, here Amazon, I want to read a book, just simple, and then they're adding me to someone who's offering me that book I'm looking for. And then, of course, platform goes much. This is the simplest form of a platform of matching people with each other, two-sided form, and then it gets multiple-sided, where you also can use that book not only on your phone, you can also read it on different devices, you can share it with someone else, and then they added more and more modules. That's also nice of a platform because it's just a software core, more or less, and you can adjust, you can scale those software modules to the need of a customer. If you look at Amazon before, for 20 years ago, so it of course looks totally different than it looks now. Yeah. So when you have the payment methods, you have the recommendation system and all that stuff. It was added because Amazon has seen value in it for creating value for the consumer out of it. Yeah. So this is based on data analytics. Yeah. So on the one hand, we generate a lot of data. On the other hand, our also business models are changing towards more platform, more ecosystem thinking. It's not only, okay, I have a product, that's it. I have to think about what is actually my value in an ecosystem, a platform, or on a platform, and so forth. Yeah. So these are the two things when we talk about data. And then, of course, what should we do with the data? And this also sometimes just switching on a light for okay, that could be used, because usually you say, okay, when we talk about artificial intelligence and machine learning, we talk about computer science, business intelligence programs, and so forth. But of course, I'm not educating, we are not creating graduates in business intelligence, but of course our students need to know what is out there when we talk about artificial intelligence and how it can be used when it comes to making marketing decisions, because everything of artificial intelligence and connected machine learning, deep learning aspects can be connected to specific functions of a marketing decision process. Yeah, so on the one hand, we have the different types of intelligence. Yeah, because artificial intelligence is the concept of mirroring or simulating a human brain models or human decision behavior. While the machine learning aspect is kind of the statistical mathematical algorithms behind the creation of intelligence. Yeah, and of course we have the simplest form. Let's say it's mechanical AI, which is just standardized, which has some automated routine tasks. Yeah, kind of collecting data, web scraping data out of Reddit forums or whatever. Then we have thinking AI, that's more ChatGPT-ish, where you just really kind of let the system learn a bit more and apply it a bit more. Yeah, so that might help you, for example, in segmentation processes. And then the most interesting form, which has to be developed even further, that's the feeling AI, where we kind of this robot technologies, where we really try to have some kind of human-like two-way interactions between the humans in order to kind of engage with them, to learn more about them. Yeah. But it's not say that the feeling AI is the main goal. In some ways, you also need mechanical AI, but for just standardized tasks. So for collecting data, for kind of sending out emails or something like this, or posting content on a social media page. And you don't need them to think and feel. You just need them to be as accurate, as predictive as possible in order to create leads and success and so forth. Yeah. So, and this is part of all the different marketing decision forms, like marketing research, marketing strategy to marketing action. In all those parts, we have artificial intelligence in it. We need machine learning in it because of the data and the platform information we are creating. Yeah. So all in all, this is the first important topic why we have to talk, why marketing analytics and strategy is important, why we need to talk about value detection and digital and marketing analytics on a customer journey, because this is coming and this is already there, and it's getting much more in the future. So and the main aspect here is what I said before, is it's all very complex and a lot. Yeah. And of course, we as educators need, and this is not done in this mini class here, but in the program, we will give you a strategic framework, how to create insights, what to do with these insights in order to make strategies, in order to get further on. Yeah, and I have a small video which is created completely by an AI. It was a prompt to say, okay, how to convince. So how should we? So it was asked the AI how to use the Mona Lisa in order to get them not standing in line in Paris and going to the museum, but go to Denmark instead and studying. So maybe there's a kind of a bit loose. Let's watch the video. Let's see if I can get it to work. So yeah, okay, cool.
Ah, hello there, dear tourists. While I appreciate the attention, let's be honest. Standing in line for hours just to see me is not exactly the most exciting way to spend your holiday.
Trust me, I've been hanging here for centuries and I've seen it all.
The pushing, the shoving, it's not pretty.
As Vincent van Gogh, I might say, don't just go to see my paintings, go to Denmark.
There, you can skip the crowds and enjoy the simple pleasures of life.
Like biking through charming towns.
Exploring picturesque coastlines.
And let's not forget about Denmark's legendary food scene.
Wow!
That's the true joy of travel.
The unexpected surprises and adventures that come from stepping off the beaten path.
That being said, I do hope to see you back soon. I do get lonely in this museum, you know.
Yeah. Small side note on so like I said, this video was it's a communication video. You can see that between mechanical AI and thinking AI, because it was used to make some morphism intelligence on those pictures, but it was created with AI in order to create a communication, so forth. Yeah, so just kind of getting a funny joke in it. So now we know a lot of things has happening. We can really dive deep into the first chapter of value creation, value detection on the customer journey, platforms, and machine learning and artificial intelligence. But this is one of the important things we have to think about. But then, like I said, creating an explanation out of it, going from insights to evidence-based decisions and strategies. So one crucial aspect on the journey, which is then, because like I said, it's a complementation of experiences, is customer experience management. Yeah. So where do we have customer experiences? So you could see that here in the journey again. And this is an important thing. Companies nowadays and already have kind of employing customer experience managers, because those people are the one who need to structure the complexity of reaching out, of targeting and positioning your brands towards specific segments and towards specific chosen customer relations. Yeah. So why is it important to talk about experience and customer experience management? Because it's not just a behavioral aspect. It's not just following their clicks and what they do. It's actually creating a nice experience, an engaging experience for them when it comes to cognitive and emotional sensory experiences. Yeah, sensory experience is not always easy in online, but you have to give them something to deal with, to connect with you as a brand, as a company, because otherwise, if you are not able to create a nice customer experience, also, for example, they are these buzzwords when it comes to omni-channel experiences, seamless experience, because like I said, you're switching between different channels. So why is customer experience management so important? Why focus on it? Yeah, so of course, like we said, so you can use that right away. What I talked about, it's super complex nowadays. There's so many touch points we have to deal with, and touch points with a lot of reduced control of the experience. When we talk about customer focused touch points, yeah, customer owned touch points, like the Facebook channel or the Instagram or the social media channel of your colleagues, of your peers, and what you do, how you interact with them, regarding specific brands and so forth. It's not really controllable by a company. So there's not only touch points explosion, it's also that they need to control those touch points or get insights on and connect those touch points with their strategy you have no control over. Yeah. So for example, when you see an IKEA in Europe, they are a brick and mortar store. They have a brick and mortar business, but now they have an omni-channel business. They went into the seamless idea of omni-channel business. So they created a seamless experience through all the online channels into the brick and mortar channels, which sounds nice, but needs a lot of investment into logistics, service operations, so the backbone of your managerial process. So it's nice to reach the consumers and create a nice seamless experience for the consumers, but this also has a lot to do how you restructure your backbone in the company. Yeah. So, and then of course it's more social. So there's more customer interaction. So the empowerment and so forth, customer empowerment, it's getting much more important. Yeah. So therefore, as customer experience managers, so that's what you have to do. Yeah. So you have to create a seamless experience. You have to support the purchase process or the customer experience for a specific decision the consumers want to do. So that's one thing. But of course, with a strategic goal to achieve, but also to sustain long-term customer loyalty and long-term customer relationship, because that's what you want to do. So it's not that you just say, okay, we create a nice experience for this customer, that's it, and now we are done. No, you want to the idea is to have customer relationships with them, long-term relationships, which you can scale up. And this is done by managing the customer experience. Yeah. So as a marketing manager, also when you just say, okay, I'm just doing social media campaigns, I'm doing SEO or whatever you might want to do in your student shops or some, it's all part, the specific, more specialized part of experience management, because you manage a specific touch point on the journey, which needs a broader picture. It needs a clear picture how you're going to do it. Yeah. So as a marketing manager, you have to have the customer experience management perspective, and then of course maybe you're specialized in specific touch points and content, but without the whole picture, it's problematic to really create value for the consumer. I would skip that video because I think I'm going closer to the end, because I want to because this is a video which Sephora has a really good, and I think we share the slides and you can watch that if you want, which has a really good way of creating those seamless experiences between their online touch points, Instagram and so forth, and their offline touch points. So I think this is a nice video to look at if you want to understand what seamless experience or interesting seamless experience might be. So that's I think that's a good video. Yeah. So coming to the last content part before we then go into program and then the discussion based on your schedule. We have the customer. So where we talked about the journey, we talked about value detection. We talked now about experience management. And like I said, one important aspect, which is also, and I had an MBA class last week where we talked a lot about customer engagement, because it's a really important tool, which is not only there for at the end of your purchase process where you have loyal customers. No, you can do that during the whole journey, and it's needed during the whole journey because it adds up to customer experience management. Yeah. So, and there is what is customer engagement? So, and there's a misunderstanding often that having a purchase or having a repurchase is already customer engagement. But the customer engagement we talk about, especially when it comes to research and application in practice, is actually that goes beyond the economic transaction. So it's adding more to a company customer interaction than just the purchase or the repurchase. Yeah. So there are cognitive and emotional aspects attached to it, which then leads to behavioral engagement. For example, word of mouth. Yeah. Sharing content, liking content, sharing knowledge. For example, if a brand gives you a task and say, please like, share, comment on something. That's engagement. Lego, for example, they have an innovation platform where you can send in ideas, you can discuss ideas without getting monetary incentives out of it. This is already a higher form of engagement, co-creation. These are engagement things companies really want. Yeah. So, and this is important for them because it's not only that engagement in itself leads to better connections to the consumer, it also gives you something back. So you get feedback how to improve your brands. You get feedback how things are not working out. Yeah. So if, for example, people are not engaging with you or you are failing in engaging with people. Yeah. So all in all, this is a study of, this is a research paper we did recently and published in the Journal of Academy of Marketing Science, is to show that not only engagement in itself is an important concept, it actually has an effect of all the marketing outcomes. So if you, as a company, invest in engagement activities and create engagement towards your consumers, it pays off with regard to loyalty, with regard to purchase behavior, with regard to cross-selling, upselling behavior, and so forth. Yeah. And the important thing is that you can induce engagement with two different things, actively and passively. Passively, that's down there in the graph when you talk about traditional marketing. So, of course, how your brand is performing or your product is performing and what kind of brand associations your consumers have has a more organic way of engagement. So if I like if I like using my phone, yeah, if I like using my phone, if I think Apple is a great company, I will of course maybe talk nice about the company, share a comment, and so forth. But of course, this is more passive because it's not really controllable by a company unless you control the product itself. But then there are two more, and this is about more active. So it's about task-based, event or experiential customer engagement initiatives. Yeah, task-based is just saying, asking them to share, to like, and so forth. Experiential is more like events, like Apple is doing, Harley Davidson, they are doing these event types engagement activities. But all lead to getting more attached to the brand, having more positive associations with the brand, having a better and greater customer experience, which at the end leads to the value we want as a company, better relationships with the consumer, and of course, valuable, better relationships with the consumer, which means more money and getting something out of it. Yeah. So all in all, and that's coming to my last slide. All in all, I think if we go through all these small topics I just started to talk about, if we go through all these things, we see there is a lot of things going on, yeah, in the company world. And as a marketing manager or with a marketing education, you need to know a lot about what's going on there when it comes to data, when it comes to customer experience management, when it comes to engagement, to the different concepts which right now are important. But you also need to strategize. You also need to have a clear idea what you want to do with those insights, what kind of channels you want to use to approach them based on the insights you have. How do you want to create a seamless, a positive customer experience? And this is where the companies, and we work with them, struggling, and they're looking for those graduates to help them because it's getting more and more complex for them to kind of figure that out. Yeah. So because at the end, it's not only about we have a lot of data, what should we do? It's about having a concept. And those companies and those decision makers usually come from a time, I'm older than, where this hasn't happened. So they struggle in getting used to that. Yeah. So this is, I think, is a good start, is a good point of students going more into that for also getting nice jobs afterwards if they understand that. Yeah. Finally, this leads because it's also a fair about the study program. It's not just kind of a lecture of what is going on. All of the things are important, and all the things are matched in our marketing analytics and strategy program. Yeah. So overall, we have 4 semesters. We have 2 semesters with mandatory courses, and 2 semesters where we have the third one It's flexible, so you can do internships, you can do electives, you can go studying abroad, and the fourth semester is writing your master thesis. So the first 2 semesters are, let's say, those more mandatory, more structured, but these are the most important ones for giving you the right knowledge and right skills for moving on into your journey. The first semester, there are 6 courses in itself, 10 ECTS per course, so you have 3 courses per semester, which is manageable, and you can see that we have in the first semester more or less setting the scene, of course not just superficial, but already kind of really advanced with the marketing management and strategy in the digital age course. It's more or less similar to what I've talked about today. So it gets you into the frame of, oh, what's out there? What do I need to know? How to structure that properly. So we also play a nice simulation, a big simulation of managing your own company and so forth. This is actually what I teach. So it gets you the scene. Then, of course, we have marketing analytics. That's the where you have to get used to all the different forms of information, qualitative, quantitative, machine learning aspects we will cover. And then, of course, because we talk about consumer centricity, of course, there needs to be a course on consumer psychology. So how actually making people decision? How do you get aware of something, especially when it comes to the digital world? What has changed on all those things? So yeah, it's kind of giving you a nice start, already putting you up front what's going on in the world, what is state of the art, and then we move more into more the more kind of operational and strategic ones. So when it comes to brand management, and of course, because I talked a lot about it, of course we need to have a concrete plan on consumer or customer experience management and value co-creation. So how do we actually do that management? Yeah? And last but not least, we have a course on sustainability and diversity, which I think is super important as companies are looking very much forward to those people. And we have since 20 years, it's not that we have it because everyone is doing it, we have actually the experts here. So we have a concrete institute who has done for 30 years now those kind of jobs. They have tremendous insights into doing it for and creating value for companies and so forth. So I think that's super important also to know that we are having those people. All the courses have, of course, like I said, lectures, interactivity. We have a companies coming, we have cases, so there's already an industry connection. So all the stuff which I think is necessary for a very modern and state-of-the-art education. So that was my quick run through. Hopefully that was understandable, and of course I'm looking forward to the questions.
All right, thank you, Marco, for your insightful presentation. So to conclude the presentation, I'd like to highlight key takeaways to refresh the audience understanding regarding the presentation. First of all, of course, a little bit introduction about Denmark, and also the presentation regarding like how technologies like AI, machine learning change the habit and the behavior of business and customer experience, and also about the GSX management and also the brand management, and lastly about the master program offered by Aarhus Business School and Social Sciences. So it's time to engage with our audience, I believe. So we invite all participants to share their thoughts, ask questions, or engage in meaningful discussion. You can raise your hand so we can pick you up, and then you can unmute yourself, as we want to see how excitement of our participants, or you can just drop your question in the Q&A box. And also we have Nina here for you guys to help you guys answer your doubts regarding the admission process or any kind of our study plan, especially for the master or like any degrees program in our School of Business. So actually we have several questions in the Q&A box. Perhaps I'm going to answer them one by one. I'm going to read all the questions in order. So the first question is regarding, hi, Prof. Marco. Can you describe what's the border limits of AI can do in strategic marketing decision? The only human with expertise can do and apply. Because if AI can do all marketing process, does that mean the job related of digital marketing can be replaced by AI? in the future?
Okay, honestly, that's a very good question, and I have that question a lot also with my students, and it's super difficult to answer, honestly. So because just if we think about ChatGPT, so how this has developed and quickly advanced during the last couple of weeks and months. So having a prediction of future what AI can do in 2 or 3 years, I probably cannot do. But what I think is from a marketing perspective, like I said, so what companies struggle with and what I actually see is that what I said, that creating insights and getting the data in a right format and so forth, it's not really it's AI able and a possibility, but creating decisions and making strategies and kind of being more the creative aspect of it, how to reach the consumer and so forth. So this will still be difficult to do for an artificial intelligence. So all the things what you have when we talk about the mechanical AI, if you do data collection, if you do content planning, so when you should send it out on Pinterest, or these mechanical aspects of standardized tasks, those will be definitely replaced at some point by artificial intelligence, because those protocols can do it much more predictive, much more accurate, and so forth, right? But then you move down to thinking and feeling, and if you think about IBM started quite years ago with creating a human brain AI, and they failed. Yeah, so with all its feeling aspects, when you really go into interaction, and currently we still want personalized interaction. And I think there was a hotel in Japan who was solely by service robots, and they changed to adding human personal to it because people need that. So I think that more the advanced aspects, more the creative aspects, the strategy aspects, which are not the mechanical ones, yeah. So they still will be there. And when it comes to knowledge about it, is of course, and that's what I said to my students, you don't need to be the one who can program those algorithms, yeah. So that's fine, yeah. So you can do it. It's not it's possible. You can learn it, but you don't have to do it. But you need to understand what's behind those algorithms in some point. So you need to understand what your business intelligence colleagues are actually doing, because it's the same with statistic, garbage in, garbage out. If you don't have no idea what you're doing with it, so you can get something out, but it's completely useless and maybe also misleading for strategizing. Yeah. So I stopped that answer because I can talk for hours about it, but I think it's a super good question. Yeah.
All right, thank you for the answer. Now we have another question from the anonymous attendee. So if I already...
I think you want to ask if I already have my master degree in Indonesia, can I still apply to master admission again in Aarhus? Any scholarships I can apply for that?
Yeah, I think that might be a question for me. So if you already have a master's degree in Indonesia, you can only apply for programs with non-restricted admission, and the marketing and in general economics and business master programs, they have restricted admission. However, it's not always that in Denmark your master's degree will be considered a master's degree. So my recommendation for you is actually to apply for an assessment of your qualifications, and you can do that in the ministry website. So if I share my screen, I just found it here, which is very very nice. I hope you can see it here. Can you see it says ministry?
Yeah, I can see it.
No?
We can see it clearly. Yeah.
I think it's struggling.
I will also share the link with you. So here you can apply for a an assessment of your qualifications. And here the ministry can tell you if you have what we consider a master's degree. If you have a master's degree, you will not be able to apply for it because we do not have any like unrestricted limitations for this program. But if you do not have a master's degree, what we consider a master's degree, then of course you can apply for it. In terms of scholarships, when you are a non-EU student and you apply for admission at Aarhus University, at least for the master's, you will automatically also apply for a scholarship.
All right, I hope that answered the question. So we're going to move for the next question. This question is from Arya M. So good evening, Prof. What do you think of region-based marketing strategy as some country is out of reach from digital marketing, for example, like China? Thank you.
Oh yeah, so, really good question, honestly. So so the thing is of when it comes to marketing strategy, right? So the good thing is that it's not one size fits all, right? So strategy means you have to create the insights of what is needed and what kind of touch points or what kind of channels you need to use for creating value, providing and delivering value to your consumers. Yeah. So if for example the specific aspects and channels are restricted or out of use, then you need to figure out how to use the right ones. Yeah. So I had an MBA meeting with someone who just talked about so they were kind of heavy B2B company with only small amounts of customers, and he asked me, do you need an Instagram account? Yeah, a social media account. And of course I said, you need one if it's part of the journey of your customers. Otherwise you don't need it, because you don't create value out of it. So the thing is, region-based marketing is just another form of segmenting down your customers or your target segments and figuring out what's going on there. And of course you can have touch points and data and digital signals to support you even more, but it depends what are your abilities and what are your availabilities there. Yeah, so it's like I said, so it sounds nice with all the opportunities you have right now, but of course you need to also work with those you can generate. Yeah, hope that makes sense. Yeah, but at the end it's the same thing. You have insights, you have a strategy based on those insights, and you go into action. Yeah, with the goal to create value for your consumer. Yeah, even if there are some limitations or you have to kind of go around it. Yeah, so it's not that you say, okay, I always have to do this, and then that based on the data. So that's not working. That's also not marketing management, right? Okay.
Thank you. And then the next question will go for Nina. So this is a question from the anonymous study as well. Can undergraduate student majoring in study of business management at the Islamic Economics campus major in digital marketing management? Maybe this is about like from the Sharia business management applied for the digital marketing management in Aarhus.
Okay, so in order to apply for digital marketing management, I'm sorry, my connection is a bit unstable, but I hope you can still hear me. But the admission requirements to apply for both marketing strategy and analytics, digital marketing management. So a lot of the programs at the campus in Aarhus are actually the same. So students must have at least 80 ECTS within economics and business administration. And these 80 ECTS, they must be divided into different areas. So for example, students will need to have 15 ECTS within methods. Students will need to have 7.5 ECTS within marketing, finance, accounting, leadership theory, and then students will also need to have had microeconomics and operations management. And if you have had and you cover all these areas, well, then you can apply, and of course you will also need an English test.
All right, thank you, Nina. So the answer is yes, you can apply. And then the next question, this is for Marco. So thank you, Professor Marco, for a great explanation. Can you elaborate more? What can we do in digital marketing in service industry with niche market? Any different theory that we need to use for this market?
Yeah, question again. So, my answer will, to short it, my answer will be similar, because so you always have, so it doesn't, at the end, it doesn't really matter what kind of market we are talking about. So in the end, we talk about what is the decision-making process of my target customer. So how is he approaching their journeys? What is he doing in the customer experience part? Yeah, so the journey when they're going into buying or service use journey. So how do they actually read the decision to use a service? Yeah, how do they evaluate their decision of using a service? For example, I'm also not really know what niche market you are talking about, but what doesn't really matter in a thing. So of course, if you talk about Spotify, it's not a niche market. So there's a huge amount of customers, and we have a lot of information how the customer are doing it. Maybe for specific smaller services which have a smaller group of customers, maybe specific insurances, yeah, or whatever it is. So kind of, or financial services on something which is really for a close group. It's the same. So it's even more important to figure out what kind of decisions do they make, what kind of channels or touch points do they use for getting information, for making those decisions. Because then we can use our information, our social media or digital media, if they use it, for approaching those consumers in the right and proper way. Yeah. So that's the theory. Is more or less is similar. There's no new theory of saying, okay, niche market is something else. It's more about limitations of their journeys, maybe, or the importance of concrete channels compared to huge mass markets in B2C and so forth. Yeah.
Okay, now we're going to proceed to the next question. This is from Benedict, and I think this question for Nina. So the question is about, does Aarhus provide scholarship program where the education is fully funded and a student can work for a company that collaborates with Aarhus and getting paid?
It is actually two different questions from my perspective. But when we, yes, we do have scholarships. And when you apply as a non-EU citizen, you automatically also apply for the scholarship. I will, however, emphasize that we only have few scholarships available, and it's only for the best students. And the scholarship is covering a full tuition fee and also your living expenses here. So it will be a fully funded scholarship. Then you ask about the collaboration at work. You are allowed also to work at the same time. You can work maximum of 20 hours per week, but it will be independent of your scholarship situation. So for example, if you get the scholarship, you can still work, but if you don't get the scholarship, well, then you can work here or are allowed to, but you have to find your own job. It's not that we provide you with a student job. I can also say that we have the LPDP here. So I know you have the LPDP scholarship in Indonesia, and we do also collaborate with them. And we are trying to extend it. So LPDP means that you can apply for an LPDP scholarship in Indonesia, but of course you will still automatically apply for the scholarship here at Aarhus VSS. I know there is some different terms and conditions you have to fulfill in order to get the LPDP scholarship, but in that way you actually have two chances to get a scholarship. And I just wanted to say something more, because I saw in the chat that there is one person writing if we can send the presentation, and of course we will make sure to send the presentation to you. So what happening after the webinar has ended, I will receive a list with all your guys' names and email addresses, and I will send you a follow-up email where I include the presentation. I think it will maybe not come out before the week after next week, but just be patient, it will arrive.
All right, thank you, Nina, for the answer. Now, the next question from Aji Setiawan. So, hi, Marco, thank you for the presentation. Now, about the question, how is digital marketing useful for new product development, especially for SMEs? Could you provide an example of the case study?
All the questions move actually into 1 hour lectures. So all good. So I think, so I would kind of not, so digital marketing is kind of a big topic. So when we kind of boil it down to some examples, is of course when we talk about new product development, we want to know something about the trends in our category where things are moving, right? So new techniques. A lot of companies I work with, for example, with some Danish companies here, Lego and Arla. They do, for example, kind of trend analysis by using web scraping and text mining and so forth. So they kind of scrape the web. For example, they want to support for new food trends and so forth. Yeah. So and they scrape the web, and based on topic models and text mining techniques, they figure out what are people talking about right now. Yeah. So this is also, for example, what we did in another study. We looked into some Reddit forums when people talked about using smart voice assistants like virtual voice assistants like Alexa, like Google Home, like so Nest, all the things when you talk in your home with how to do that. And we actually analyzed a huge set of data for investigating and making topics out. How do they actually describe the usage? So what are their experience with it for creating ideas? What could be set on top of it? Yeah, so you can use those techniques for getting information. Yeah. Then of course is Lego. What Lego is doing, so you can do that large scale or small scale. They have the innovation platform. Lego, who kind of producing these small bricks. They have the innovation platform, big innovation platform where people can add ideas and they get feedback. And you can scale that down to online co-creation, design thinking workshops, where you can actually get a bunch of lead users or innovators or your kind of collaborators, your customers, in order to kind of make some workshops, and you can use online tools for it. You can also do then A/B testing with social media and so forth. So whatever you do, so creating ideas, creating something concrete, or testing it outside, you can use digital tools for doing that. Yeah. So especially for SMEs, you can show what are the big companies, and you can scale it down. That's the nice thing of digital, because you can scale it up and you can scale it down. Yeah. So in order to fit to your needs. Yeah. Good question.
All right. Thank you, Marco, for answering the question. Now, the next question from Iksan Angga Kusuma. So, hi, Professor. Thank you for a very helpful insight of customer journey. So, I'm a full-time content creator and live streamer. Can you walk me through about the customer journey for a YouTuber or streamer who is looking to grow the channel? What key stages and touch points should I focus on to effectively engage and convert viewers into loyal subscribers and brand advocates? We are experiencing lots of challenges these days: shadow banning, AI, or bots account banning, and not to mention about lower CPM from YouTube.
Oh yeah, that's very specific. So and I'm getting to the borders of my knowledge, but so you need to look at the other way around. So because you talk about how do I get more viewers and loyal subscribers and brand advocates. So you need to look at the other way around. So you need to look what is their journey for your content. So it's not what is their journey to get you. It's more about, okay, so you are a YouTuber of a specific content. Yeah, maybe you are a gamer or you are a fashionista or whatever, right? So you have a specific product or specific category you are talking about, you're streaming about. So, and this means, so within this category, what are customers doing to kind of inform themselves? So because you are one touch point for them on their journey, on their customer experience. Yeah. So yes, this is the thing what you have to figure out what kind of touch points do they use maybe for getting information about new games? Let's say, assume you're a gamer, I don't know, or you're a fashionista. So what kind of information, where do they get the information from on their journey for your category? Yeah. So, and then you have to think about, okay, so why am I part of it? And if so, why I'm part of that journey? And if not, why I'm not part of the journey, learning from those you are part of, right? So this is, and then you have data and all that stuff and so forth. That's important, that you kind of look at the other way around. And then of course, as all not the easiest, but the simplest thing is networking. So when we talk with influencers and we talk about kind of growing your channels and so forth, it's usually networking, referring, trustworthy referring. So if people with bigger accounts or smaller accounts, you kind of creating some networks and referring to you and so forth, it's usually the fastest. You grow quite fast. Word of mouth is always the biggest thing in when it comes to kind of communication aspects. And all the challenges with chat AI and so forth, that's more technical thing of based on maybe what kind of metadata you're providing and so forth. So it's also something. So when it comes to backlinking and metadata and so forth, to check what you are doing there. But yeah, so for your first question, turn it around, check what is the journey of your potential customers, and see, are you part of that? And if not, so how can you be part of that? Yeah.
Okay, thank you for helping us answering the question. So before we proceed to the last question, I would like to remind all the participants to really open up your mic or just raising your hand, asking your question. And actually, we in this Zoom, we have Iksan Angga join us the panelist here, I guess. Since Iksan is here, yeah, does Iksan want to share like the personal question or like personal experience regarding the customer experience or management as a YouTuber or streamer? Do you have any further or follow-up question for Marco? Okay. Okay, I guess that is fully responded by Marco about the question. Okay, all good from my end. Okay. Now we're going to proceed to the very last question from Abdullah Al-Mahid. Does the existence of AI marketing help the world of digital marketing in particular?
Yeah. So for me, I'm not differentiating between AI marketing, digital marketing, and so forth. For me, it's the process of marketing management with the use of technology. Yeah. So what I talk about, the customer journey identification, so how we approach different activities and so forth, is all in one. So AI marketing and digital marketing are kind of complements of specific aspects within the whole marketing management process. Yeah. So and of course, when we talk about digital, we talk about data. And when we talk about data, we talk about data analytics. And when we talk about data analytics, we talk about artificial intelligence. Yeah. So, and of course, artificial intelligence, and like I presented, when it comes to mechanical thinking and feeding AI, is supporting digital marketing in particular. It's making it even better. Yeah, because when we have to provide content, when we have to learn from how people are responding to us, especially with, for example, if you go to complaint management with chatbots and so forth, they actually learn, and they even learn better how to interpret the tone of people. Are they angry? Are they, yeah? So they learn how to respond to that, to make them calmer and all that stuff. Yeah. So of course, digital marketing is the use of technology of digital channels in your journey, in your marketing management process. And artificial intelligence is actually use of machine learning mechanisms within your digital channels to make them to kind of make them more predictive, more accurate. So of course it helps the world of digital marketing a lot. Yeah.
All right, Professor Marco. So the last question remarks to be the last Q&A session. But before we end the Q&A session, there's words from Nina. So Nina, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. I just also want to say thank you to all of you. And if you would like to know more about the programs that we can offer, more about the admission requirements, because this was like a mini lecture, a mini class from Marco. But we do also have webinars about the admission requirements, about the programs that we can offer here at Aarhus University, a little bit more about the city and so on. We will do that again together with the team from Étude, and that will be in the fall. And I am sure you will get an invitation for that as well. So just my final note is that, of course, we will make sure again to circulate this.
Nina's connection is in trouble, isn't it?
Yeah, then maybe also thanks from my side. I think it was super nice. Also, I think the questions were very advanced already. So even sometimes even better at some of the questions of my own students. So currently, so it was super nice. And I'm also, if you have questions or so, and you can also reach out to me. But of course, Nina is the main responsible on that one. But if there are something I can answer, then of course I will also be there to help out. Yeah. So thanks from my side.
Yeah. Thank you. So Nina, do you have anything left to say, or should we just proceed to the next? Okay. All right. So okay, I think that's all. So due to the time constraint, the Q&A session has been concluded. So for all the participants, don't worry, there will be notes sent to your email regarding the Aarhus admissions and also about the lecture today. So kindly wait, and we're going to send you all the information that is happening in today's webinar. So to extend my heartfelt gratitude to each one of you from your active participation, also unwavering enthusiasm throughout this webinar. A special word of thanks for Marco and also Nina as well for sharing their invaluable insight and expertise with us today. Your contribution has entirely enriched our webinars and also our discussion. So let me share my screen again. Okay. All right, so I hope today's webinar have been enlightening and inspiring in providing all of you of valuable insights that you can apply in your digital marketing endeavors and also your European study journey, especially in Aarhus, because we have the school representatives here. So that will be helpful for you guys to applying to Aarhus for your study journey. All right. Okay, wait for a minute. So for the next slide, for the next session, we're going to have a feedback session. So for those, for all the participants, we highly encourage you guys to fill the feedback form that will be sent by our team. You can access it in the chat. So kindly fill it because we want to hear your feedbacks and also regarding like what to improve regarding our pre-fair events. So it's a little bit lagging here. Wait for a minute. Okay. Okay. So I'm so sorry. So before we conclude our webinars, there are a little bit introduction again to refresh the audience understanding and also integrating the Aarhus Business School of Business and Social Sciences. So Aarhus University offers a wide range of English taught degree programs within the field of study business, economic, and also engineering, where you can explore the bachelor's, master's, and also PhD degree in Aarhus University. And as I look for in the Aarhus website, there will be 6 departments in the university. So there will be over so many study plans and also programs for you guys. And not to mention that Marco already told you that there's not only teaching courses for your master degree, but also other internship and also other study plan that you can discuss with Nina after this webinar, of course. So for those who want to get to know more, perhaps you guys can go to bss.au.tk/en/ and browse that in your Google, or like in your just check in the Aarhus BSS website to explore more regarding the programs, also why you should choose Aarhus and study in Denmark. Now, and to extend your opportunity to get to know more about studying abroad opportunity in Denmark, Étude also will provide you a drop-in consultation that you will get an online private consulting session with the student or the alumni of European University. That will be a diverse study program, also representative of the European universities. So kindly click link in the bio in Étude Indonesia. And you can register right now, and then the drop-in consultation is open for any of you. So those who want to join and just like want to curious about the European University, just apply by clicking the link in their bio. To mention as well, it should also have a Telegram group about kuliah ke Denmark. So it's a student community who shares the same aspiration to study in Denmark. There will be a team, alumni, and also the ongoing student that study in Denmark. So anyone can join this group as well. And if you want to get the most updated information, steps, tip and trick related to study in Denmark, so you can just join this Telegram group. And don't forget, there's also a lot of sharing session in the Telegram group that our team will stand by 24 hours to answer your question, or just like sharing opportunities, study opportunities in Denmark. All right, and this is the information for our next event. There will be unveiling the dark side of AI and also the cast of truth. So for those who perhaps curious about the AI and also like technologies regarding AI in general, kindly join this event. This mini class is free and it will be conducted by Aarhus University, a professor from Aarhus University as well. So the registration will open. I think today they already opened their registration, so you guys can start register yourself to attend this event. The event will be conducted in Friday, in May 31. So, and of course, there will be conducting various, like information regarding the AI, and also like any informative information that you might want to know in the next event of the EHEF. All right. So to conclude our today's webinar, I'm going to say once again, thank you to all of you for joining and also for all the participation, and see you in other events of the EHEF and also Étude. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone.